This happened 3 years ago on Christmas Eve. Growing up, my family had this tradition where we'd all stay at my grandparents' lake house for the holidays. My older sister Emma had always been the golden child, straight as full scholarship to college, engaged to this perfect guy named Michael. Meanwhile, I was just the screw-up little brother who barely graduated high school. That Christmas, Emma had been acting strange for weeks. She'd lost a ton of weight, and whenever someone mentioned the wedding, she'd change the subject. But my parents just kept gushing about how proud they were of her, how excited they were for the spring wedding. I thought maybe she was just stressed about planning it. Christmas Eve dinner was at 6 p.m. sharp, like always. Emma showed up 2 hours late. When she walked in, my mom gasped. Emma was wearing this oversized hoodie in the middle of winter, and her eyes had this hollow, distant look. But she was smiling. This huge, bright smile that didn't reach her eyes. "Sorry, I'm late. Traffic was crazy," she said, hugging everyone a little too tight, a little too long. My dad tried to lighten the mood. "Well, you're here now. That's all that matters." Michael, coming later. Emma's smile got even wider. "Michael's great. Everything's great. I'm so happy to be here with my family." It was the way she said it, too rehearsed, too perfect. My grandmother pulled my mom aside, and I heard her whisper, "Something's wrong with that girl." But my mom just shushed her. "She's probably just tired from finals." During dinner, Emma barely ate. She just pushed food around her plate and kept checking her phone obsessively. Every few minutes, she'd look at the screen, and her hands would start shaking. Then she'd put it face down and paste that smile back on. "Emma, honey, you feeling okay?" my dad asked. "I'm perfect, Dad. This is perfect. This is the best Christmas ever." Her voice cracked on the last word. After dinner, we did presents in the living room, like always. When it was Emma's turn, she handed out these small wrapped boxes to everyone. Inside mine was a bracelet she'd made, the kind we used to make as kids, with embroidery thread. Everyone else got one too. "I made them myself," she said. "I wanted you all to have something to remember me by. Remember you by. You're not going anywhere." My mom laughed nervously. "Right? Yeah. I just meant something handmade. Something from the heart." Around 10 p.m., Emma said she was exhausted and went to bed in the guest room. My parents seemed relieved. "She just needs rest," my dad kept saying. "Grad school is probably overwhelming her." But I couldn't shake this feeling. Something about the way she said "remember me by." Around midnight, I went to check on her. I knocked softly. No answer. I knocked harder. Nothing.
I opened the door. The room was empty. Her phone was on the bed, and her coat was gone. I grabbed her phone. She hadn't locked it. The screen showed a text thread with Michael. "Please don't do this. Emma, answer me. Your family needs you. I'm calling your parents if you don't respond." I scrolled up. The messages from weeks ago made my blood run cold. Michael had broken off the engagement. Emma had failed out of grad school. She'd lost her scholarship. And there were messages to a crisis hotline that she'd never finished typing. I ran downstairs screaming for my parents. My dad called the police while my mom tried Emma's phone over and over. The cops found her car parked at the lake overlook 2 miles away. Her coat was folded neatly on the driver's seat. They searched for 3 days. They found her body on December 27th. She'd walked into the freezing lake on Christmas Eve, right after leaving our house. The medical examiner said it would have been quick. At the funeral, I wore the bracelet she made me. I kept thinking about Christmas Eve, how I'd been annoyed she was acting weird, how I'd rolled my eyes when she called it the best Christmas ever, how I didn't follow her to the guest room to actually talk to her. She'd come home to say goodbye. She'd made us bracelets to remember her by. She told us it was the best Christmas ever because she knew it was her last, and we were all too busy pretending. Everything was fine to see that she was screaming for help. I still have that bracelet. I'll never take it off. And every Christmas, I think about how I opened presents and ate cookies. While my sister was planning to die, how I had one chance to really see her and I missed it completely.
This happened to my sister's family 2 years ago. She just had her first baby in November, a little girl named Maya. My sister Sarah was exhausted. Maya wasn't sleeping through the night, and Sarah was basically a zombie. For Christmas, my parents bought them this fancy video baby monitor. Top of the line. Night vision, two-way audio, motion sensors, the whole deal. Sarah was so relieved. They set it up on Christmas night. Everything seemed perfect. Around 2 a.m., Sarah's phone buzzed with a motion alert. She checked the app. Maya was still sleeping, but the camera had picked up movement. Then she noticed something weird. The closet door was open. She knew she'd closed it before putting Maya down. She woke up her husband, Mike. They watched the live feed together. Mike said he'd check it out. Sarah watched on her phone as he entered Maya's room on the camera feed. He checked the closet empty, closed the door. Everything was fine. They went back to sleep. Sarah felt stupid for being paranoid. At 3:30 a.m., another motion alert. Sarah checked her phone. The closet door was open again. And this time, she saw something that made her blood run cold. In the night vision, she could see someone standing in the closet, not moving, just standing there. A dark figure, partially hidden by hanging clothes, but definitely a person. Just watching. She shook Mike awake. He grabbed a baseball bat and crept down the hall. Sarah watched the camera feed, her heart pounding. She watched Mike enter the room, and the figure in the closet didn't move. Mike threw open the closet door. Empty. Nothing there. But on Sarah's phone screen, she could still see the figure. Standing right behind Mike. Right behind him. But Mike couldn't see it. Sarah screamed into the phone. "Behind you." Mike spun around. Nothing. The closet was empty. But on her screen, the figure was still there. She was looking at two different realities. Mike standing in an empty closet, and her screen showing someone standing right behind him. Then her phone screen flickered. When it came back, the figure was gone. The closet was empty on her screen too now. Mike thought maybe it was a glitch, some kind of visual bug in the camera software. But Sarah knew what she saw. Something was very wrong. They tried to sleep with Maya in a bassinet next to their bed. At 5 a.m., Sarah's phone buzzed again. The camera view had changed. It wasn't pointed at the crib anymore. Someone had moved it. The camera was now pointing at their bedroom door, and the app showed two devices connected. Her iPhone and an unknown device labeled iPhone living room. They didn't have another iPhone. Someone else was watching. Someone in their house. Mike grabbed Maya, and they ran to the car in their pajamas. No shoes, no coats. Just ran. They called 911 from the driveway. They weren't going back in that house. Not until the police searched every inch of it. Police came and searched the whole house. Top to bottom. Closets. Attic. Crawl. Spaces. Everything. And then they went to the basement. That's where they found him. A man they'd never seen before, sitting on the floor with a phone open to their baby monitor app, just watching. He had a backpack with rope, duct tape, and a knife. He'd been living in their basement for 3 weeks, coming and going through a broken basement window they never knew was broken. He'd been in their house, watching them, the entire time. He was the one opening Maya's closet door. The police showed them the window. Ground level, hidden by overgrown weeds. Broken glass. Footprints in the dirt. Multiple sets, coming and going. This wasn't a one-time thing. He'd been using it for weeks. Easy access. And they never noticed. Here's the part that still haunts Sarah. When the police looked at the baby monitors, footage history, it showed he'd been watching the feed every single night since they set it up on Christmas. Every night, watching their baby sleep, watching Sarah and Mike come and go, learning their routines. He'd figured out how to connect because they never changed the default password. The police said he'd been planning to do something that night. They found notes in his backpack, plans, a hand-drawn floor plan of their house, times written down when they went to bed, when they woke up. They wouldn't tell Sarah exactly what he was planning, just that she was very lucky they called when they did. Sarah's family moved out of that house 2 weeks later, but it didn't help. 2 years later, and Sarah still wakes up at 3:30 a.m. exactly, the time she saw the figure. She says she still feels like someone's watching, even in their new house, even with all new locks and a security system. Maya's 3 years old now, and Sarah still won't put a monitor in her room. She threw that baby monitor in a dumpster. She can't use any cameras in her home. The trauma changed something in her. Those 3 weeks of being watched, being studied, she says his eyes are still on them somehow. And here's what keeps me up at night. The police said that broken basement window had been broken for months before they moved in. The previous owners had mentioned it to the landlord, but it was never fixed, which means that man might have been watching the house, waiting in that basement, long before my sister's family ever moved in, waiting for the right family, a family with a baby. That's what he was looking for. He was already there, and they walked right into his trap.
This happened when I was 12 years old. Back in 2015, my family always did this thing where we'd send Christmas cards to everyone we knew, relatives, friends, even old neighbors we hadn't seen in years. My mom was obsessed with it. She'd spend weeks writing personalized messages, picking the perfect family photo, the whole deal. That year, we sent out maybe 50 cards in early December. But on December 23rd, we got one back. It was addressed to our family, in our own handwriting. My mom's handwriting. She opened it, and inside was our family Christmas card, the exact one we'd sent out. But someone had drawn on it, in red marker. They'd circled my dad's face and written soon across his chest. My mom laughed it off as some kind of prank. Maybe one of my dad's work buddies being weird. But my dad went quiet when he saw it. Really quiet. He just stared at it, then put it in his pocket and said we should throw it away and forget about it. That night, Christmas Eve, my dad said he had to run to the store for last-minute gifts. He left around 8 p.m. By midnight, he still wasn't back. My mom called his cell straight to voicemail. She called the store. They closed at 9. She started calling hospitals. At 2 a.m. on Christmas morning, 2 police officers knocked on our door. My dad had been in an accident. Someone ran a red light and T-boned his car on the driver's side. He died at the scene. The other driver fled, hit and run. They never found them. When the police asked if we needed to collect his belongings from the car, my mom remembered the Christmas card. It wasn't in his pocket anymore. It wasn't in the car. It was never found. Here's the thing that still haunts me. We looked through all the cards we'd sent out. We counted them, checked our list. We'd sent 50 cards. We'd bought exactly 50 cards from the store. But when we counted the empty box, there were 51 envelopes missing. We'd somehow sent 51 cards, but we only bought 50. My mom became obsessed with figuring out who sent that card back. 2 weeks after my dad's funeral, my mom was going through his office and found something hidden in his desk drawer. A stack of letters, all from the same person. A woman he'd been having an affair with for 6 months. The letters were angry. The most recent one was from December 5th. Said, "If I can't have you, no one can. You'll see. Merry Christmas."
The police investigated her. She had an alibi for the night of the accident. She was at a Christmas party with 30 witnesses. But here's what they found. She'd hired someone, a private investigator she'd been paying to follow my dad for months. The PI had taken photos of our house, our family, everything. He'd somehow stolen one of our Christmas cards, probably from our mailbox before we sent them out, or from a neighbor's mailbox after we did. The PI had drawn on the card and sent it back to scare my dad, but he swears he didn't cause the accident. He said his job was just to intimidate my dad into leaving his girlfriend. The police couldn't prove he was the hit-and-run driver. They never found enough evidence. To this day, I don't know if the accident was really an accident, or if someone meant for my dad to die that night. The case went cold. The PI got a fine for harassment. The girlfriend was never charged with anything. Every Christmas I think about that card. How someone circled my dad's face and wrote "soon" in red marker. How 3 days later he was dead. How we somehow sent 51 cards when we only bought 50. And how my dad knew something was wrong the moment he saw it. But he never told us what. I'm 21 now, and my mom still refuses to send Christmas cards. Someone tried to give her a box this year. She wouldn't even look at it. She can't. That tradition died with my dad. Some wounds never heal. But here's what keeps me up at night. We sent 50 cards. We bought 50 cards. But somehow 51 envelopes were used. Where did that extra card come from? Was it really the PI who sent it? Or was it the girlfriend? Or was it my dad himself, sending us a warning he couldn't say out loud? I'll never know. All I know is someone circled his face, wrote "soon," and 3 days later, my father was dead. And whoever killed him is still out there. Merry Christmas.